Good day from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Pat O'Brien, and welcome to the 1987 NBA playoffs here on CBS. To kick off our coverage, we're going to send you to the Boston Garden, where the defending world champions are hosting Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. It's doubleheader day, and in the second half of the day, some of you will see the Houston Rockets and the Portland Trail Blazers, while the rest of you will be switched right back here to Milwaukee as the Bucks are hosting Dr. J and the 76ers. So come on over to our neighborhood. It's the NBA here on CBS.
For the Chicago Bulls, this playoff matchup with Boston might be an uphill battle. But with Michael Jordan, no mountain is unscalable. His vast repertoire can be breathtaking. And today, the world champions must figure out a way to contain him. Something much easier said than done. The Boston Celtics have visions of another NBA title. And with Larry Bird at the helm, the ship appears to be on course. He is the catalyst who enhances a team artistry unmatched in basketball. And with a playoff victory already in the books, that Celtic dream is one step closer to becoming a reality. This afternoon, it's Game 2 from Boston, where the Celtic spirits are always up and where the underdog Chicago Bulls will be fired up. And welcome to CBS Sports coverage of the 1987 NBA playoffs. First round action in the Eastern Conference today at sold-out Boston Garden as the Chicago Bulls take on the Boston Celtics. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and you know the big question coming into this year's playoffs is, can the Boston Celtics repeat as world champions? And of course, it has been 18 years since the Celtics themselves has repeated. It seems like no team can repeat in almost any sport. The Celtics have been playing good basketball all year, and we'll see how well they do. They were successful in their first game against the Chicago Bulls in this series, winning by 4 points at the Boston Garden on Thursday. And in the Eastern Conference playoffs, the home teams took 1-0 leads. The closest games were here in Boston and, of course, Milwaukee and Philadelphia, and those teams will follow us for most of the country. My partner, of course, all year is Tommy Heinsohn. Tommy, how is this Celtic team different from many others we've seen throughout the years?
This is probably, if the Celtics win it, going to be the greatest championship they ever had, because 5 guys are going to try and do it. I don't think they've ever tried that before. The whole league is trying to melt them down emotionally and physically.
In the first game on Thursday, the Celtics built up a 21-point lead in the first half, and then the Bulls dominated them in the second half, and the Celtics really had to scrape by, winning by 4. What is the psychology from that game entering Game 2?
Dick, this series is not your ordinary first team against 8th team, because the Celtics have their physical problems, but the Bulls really have one of the most explosive offensive players in the league. They have great rebounding in Charles Oakley, and more importantly, their game plan showed them that they can have a way to beat the Celtics. This is going to be a dandy.
Jordan scored 35 points in the other game, but Larry Bird took only 7 shots, believe it or not, and a lot of people think he'll come out firing today. So coming up, it's the NBA on CBS. This is the 311th consecutive sellout at Boston Garden, and they're here to see these starting lineups. Gene Banks, Charles Oakley, Dave Corzine up front, and in the backcourt, Michael Jordan and John Paxson. Jordan scored 63 a year ago in the second game of this series. And first-year head coach Doug Collins at age 35. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parish. An imposing front court for the Celtics. Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge, a great starting 5 for Boston. And the coach with the highest winning playoff percentage in Celtic history, believe it or not, is K.C. Jones. Lee Jones and Ed Rush are the officials today. The alternate is Bruce Alexander. Celtics in white, Bulls in red, seconds away from the start of Game 2, controlled by Chicago. And, of course, all eyes are on Mr. Jordan.
There's no question that Michael Jordan is the offense here, both as a scorer and as a decoy.
He's a scorer there.
And right there is a key shot for him, because when he hits the outside shot early, that really puts a lot of pressure on the Celtics defense.
Tommy, the Celtics stopped pushing it up in the second half of Game 1.
They have got to really come at the Bulls offensively, push it up the floor, get more than 18 seconds to operate their half-court offense if they don't get easy baskets.
Gene Banks commits the foul, and of course he'll be one of the two people on Larry Bird today. Banks, who never stops working, and Bird, who a lot of people think will start firing it up after 7 shots in game 1. Parish as easy as pie ties the score.
The Bulls try to use a double-down defense against the inside game of Boston, and Boston has to be alert to how to beat that.
Jordan is guarded by Dennis Johnson. Double team, finds a man inside, and Parish blocks the shot by Oakley inside. Ainge. Celtic guards have been very effective hitting the outside shot when left open. A lot of people are not surprised that Bird comes out like that, and it's now a 4-2 game.
They need Larry Bird really to get the emotion going and also to make some impact in this game with a lot of points and his passing.
Bird is guarding Banks, but he'll try to help someone else inside. Low to Corzine. Corzine did not have a good game. 33 minutes and only 1 for 1 from the field, but his history shows that he comes back strong after a poor effort. McHale working inside. Tommy, Kevin McHale did not score in the 4th quarter of game 1, and he didn't score in the second half against Atlanta.
I think he's probably the guy that's most affected by the meltdown tactics. Here's a little bumping and banging, trying physically to wear Kevin down. The double team, he eludes that so beautifully, and look, a third defender right in his face as he tries to wheel to the middle. They want him to shoot fadeaways, the Bulls.
They say that McHale may have bone spurs on his foot, so he hasn't been effective, as you say, in the second half to slow down to a crawl. Jordan. And the Celtics with a 2-point lead with 2 minutes gone by here in the first period. Parish goes inside on Corzine.
That is a key matchup for the Celtics. The Bulls cannot double everybody that goes in the low post, and they have elected, I think, in game 1, not to double Robert Parish. He'll be able to work on Corzine one-on-one.
Paxson. He's been hurting. Question as to whether he'd start. And a foul called against the Celtics, and it's against Dennis Johnson.
Here's Corzine. He's laying too much pressure on Robert Parish for his favorite move. He uses that pressure to spin right off you and takes it strong to the hoop. No double team in sight on Parish.
Jordan has a screen from Oakley, but Dennis Johnson fights through that. But Michael goes airborne. Misses the shot, and now the Celtics, leading 8-4, have yet to miss from the field. They're 4 for 4. Bird, foul. And he almost got that one.
That type of shot is perfect evidence that Larry Bird intends to get that gun going and try to heat up offensively and score some points.
Gene Banks quickly picks up 2 fouls, and Doug Collins goes to his bench, and he'll be coming in with the 7-foot rookie Brad Sellers out of Ohio State. The leading free throw shooter in the league, Bird, this year for the 2nd straight season. And here's Sellers, who's developed a feathery outside shooting touch and may prove to be a problem for Bird defensively.
He's an all-purpose player for Doug Collins. He can play the 3 inside positions, but I think his most natural position is quick forward, and they're going to put him on Larry Bird.
6 in a row run off by the Celtics. Corzine, who can hit from outside. Sellers shows his touch, and it's now 10-6 with 3 minutes just about gone by in this first stanza. Parish blocked by Jordan. Kicked out of bounds. It's going to be Celtics ball. Make it Bulls ball. Last kicked by Dennis Johnson.
There's the most blocks by a guard, Michael Jordan, but Parish waited too long to try and make his move on Corzine. He let Jordan get into the play.
Parish picking up Jordan on the switch. Oakley is guarded by Dennis Johnson inside. Paxson, though, goes for 3 and is way off the mark. Oakley gets the offensive board for Chicago. Jordan and Bird, one-on-one, with help from McHale. A lot of chances, comes up naught for the Bulls, and the Celtics have it with 8:20 to go and a 4-point lead. First period.
That was a perfect example of Jordan as a decoy.
McHale, and Sellers gets the rebound. Oakley, who got too far under the basket. And on the fast break, Ainge to Bird. And the foul.
Dick, it's so important for Chicago to stay close in this first quarter so they don't have a mountain to overcome. Here's Jordan moving to his right. There's the second defender, stops him. He decoys, that left Oakley wide open, but Oakley, not a leaper, has trouble powering the ball up underneath.
Paxton commits the foul, and the Celtics hold the early lead, a timeout call. It was in Game 2 a year ago where Jordan scored 63, the all-time leading playoff game scoring-wise. Tommy Heinsohn talks about what the Celtics must do against him.
The great talents of Michael Jordan demand special attention. Jordan wants to take the most direct, non-stop flight path to the basket, and the Celtics must avert his flight pattern. The man defending Jordan will back off him to negate some of his quickness.
A lot of times when you play against a guy like Michael, you have a tendency to sit and spectate and watch to see what he's going to do next. But, you really can't afford to do that if you want to win the game.
They will force him to his left, towards other defenders, and away from those straight lines to the basket. And once he starts on his glide path to the basket, the team defense will join him in the air to alter his approach. This is all well and good, except when Air Jordan chooses an alternate flight path. You know what they did? There was a rumor around that they were picking up unknown blips out at O'Hare Field, and they told the Bulls that he better put some lights on his wingtips.
You know, he had a problem. He hurt his finger, middle finger of his right hand in practice this week on the rim. He wore a bandage in Game 1, missed his first 6 shots, got rid of the bandage, and then hit 12 of 19 to wind up with 35. So nothing's going to stop Jordan, who so far in the game just hit that opening basket. And the Bulls are struggling from the field, having hit just 1 of their last 7 shots. But here is Bird on the line, and he'll shoot a pair.
Larry Bird, when he comes into these types of basketball games, makes a personal statement. He takes it on his shoulders emotionally and mentally to make everything work in their game plan.
Little pressure by the Celtics in the backcourt. They didn't show that too much the other night.
Well, they're trying to disrupt the timing of what Chicago wants to do, particularly Jordan getting the ball.
And the Bulls might want to consider the same thing against the Celtics. 7 on the shot clock. Sellers is open. Inside, Oakley stuffs it through.
They tell me that he cannot dunk the ball with his right hand from a standstill, but he can with his left. I have to find out how that works.
Oakley had more rebounds than anyone in the league this year. Barkley won by virtue of a better average. Oakley played in a lot more games. 7.5 to go. It's 12-8. Celtics by 4.
Celtics in the physical challenge. Keep the pace up and not tire themselves out. They have to be very smart on how they use their energy.
Bird has 8 points. And he's already taken 2 shots, has hit both of them, and a lot of stuff from the line. Isolating Jordan on Dennis Johnson. Sellers setting a screen. Stop off the rim. Oakley, offensive basket for the Bulls, and it's 14 to 10.
That's the area that the Bulls are working on. Whenever the team defense runs at Jordan, somebody else can do things. Shoot it or go for an open rebound.
Double team, Corzine and Oakley on McHale. Parish gets the offensive rebound. Try to stuff it through and miss. You don't often see that from Parish or the Celtics on those second chances.
Bulls are giving McHale a workover down that low post, Dick.
Illegal defense called against the Celtics. That's a warning. Second time will be a tee, a technical.
McHale with a sore foot really has a problem underneath there. He can't really use that strong base to make those spin moves. He wants to take it to the middle, and the Bulls want to make him shoot fadeaway jumpers. They wanted to score 20 points on 20 shots.
He only went to the line once the other night. To do that, Doug Collins will be more than happy. Corzine. Sellers with the fake on Bird. Good touch, as we said. Sellers, who was the 9th pick in the draft. And now the Bulls trail by 2.
And the pace is where the Bulls would like to move it right now, too.
Bird, 3 for 3.
Well, he's getting off to his a good start that they would need to have.
Doesn't surprise anyone. Jordan goes up and draws the foul as he slices through.
You know, when he gets on the right side of the court, it's awfully difficult to really contain him because his shooting hand is free. You're going to see Kevin McHale try and take that right hand away from him. And look what he does. He goes to his left and then just slithers through. I mean, that's heads-up smart maneuvering by Jordan.
Foul is on Larry Bird, his first, and Jordan hits the free throw. And, of course, hovering over all of this, including the Bulls, is the Boston Celtics mystique at home. They have won 30 in a row at Boston Garden and 75 of their last 76 games. And that becomes a very important factor because the Celtics know they have home court edge throughout these Eastern Conference playoffs. Dennis Johnson misses. That's the first shot of the game by a Celtic guard. And now the Bulls looking to tie it up and pushing the ball, as Tommy said, effectively. Jackson shot drops through, and we have a 16-apiece tie.
They had a 4-on-2 that time. That's an awfully poor shot to come up with on a 4-on-2. They could have gotten a layup.
And keep in mind, we haven't seen Sedale Threet, who will be coming up and pushing it up for the Bulls when he gets in there.
He's the accelerator for this ball club, much like Spud Webb is for the Hawks.
Ainge against the double. Dennis Johnson. Well, the Bulls defended the guards pretty well, but then Robert Parish was lurking, and Parish has 6 points. He's second to Bird's 10.
Well, a good penetration by Ainge and DJ is going to free up both McHale and Parish on the offensive boards.
Corzine is free inside and lays it in.
That's something that they didn't do the other night. Put Corzine in the low post. They had him out at the high post.
These are the adjustments you get from game to game. McHale misses. And now the Bulls with a chance to take their first lead since Jordan put them up 2-0 to start it. Force the shot.
When you force him to his left, he has to bring the ball back to you.
Ainge puts the Celtics in front again, and the first point from the Boston guards. Oakley quickly down at the other end and will wait for his teammates. Oh, really? What a move, baseline, and I think Larry Bird got fooled, Tommy.
He thought that the basketball thing to do was wait for the rest of the Bulls to get up. That's what Oakley was thinking, only he wasn't thinking that way.
Sellers, the 7-footer on Bird. Parish gives him a screen, and on the pick and roll, a foul. You talked about forcing Jordan to his left. Here it is.
When you force him to his left, he has to bring the ball right back to you to shoot it. You can hang right on his shooting hand and destroy his rhythm. You look at DJ just giving him all kinds of problems, but with that quick first step, Jordan's back in there for the rebound. You got to do an awful lot to stop him.
Fourth team foul on Chicago. It was Jordan with his first foul, and now another Chicago foul, this time on Paxton. And that will put the Bulls in the penalty, and Chicago will go on the line.
There has been more aggressive defense by the Bulls in this first quarter than in the prior ball game put together, and they played fairly aggressive in the fourth quarter on Thursday night.
Oakley gets charged with the foul, his first. Banks picked up too early and went to the bench for the Bulls, replaced by Sellers. And here's Kevin McHale, who led the Celtics with 21 in game number 1.
Kevin McHale has a spur in his foot, and that's like every time you put your foot down, you're stepping on a nail. That's awfully difficult to try and maintain somebody pushing on your back with a sore foot like that.
Celtics are playing hurt, and that goes for Parish with his elbow, Bill Walton, who we'll see, and, of course, McHale. Celtics by 2 with 3.5 to play. The double on Jordan. Paxton penetrates. Tipped up and in.
There was Oakley really going strong to the board that time on that Michael Jordan defense. He is being left open, and he's starting to take good advantage of it.
8 points for Oakley, who is the Bulls' high scorer. Bird. And we will have a catching his own pass, I believe. Bird caught his own pass, a violation. Turns it over to Chicago. You know, Tommy, Michael Jordan was the high scorer in every game but 5 this year for the Bulls. In 2 of those 5 games, the Celtics were the opponents.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because the Celtics have thrown 3 guys at Michael Jordan, and a lot of other people are open.
That'll be a Celtic foul, and only their 3rd team foul, non-shooting. And Casey Jones will call a timeout. So a far different game early than we had in game 1. The Bulls playing the Celtics even. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn, Boston Garden. And Tommy, not only is the game different so far than it was in game 1, the pace is different.
Very important. The Bulls have upbeated the game the way they want it, and they are still close. The Celtics have been counting on getting out the big leads in the first half and then trying to sustain it through the second half, and they haven't been able to do that. So Chicago very much in this ball game in a great position.
Sellers with a turnaround. That didn't miss by much. Rebound by Parish. The score is tied, and still the only lead for Chicago in the game was 2-0 when Jordan hit the jumper. Bill Walton gets off the bench. And a basket by Bird. He has 12. It's been all Bird other than Parish with cleanup baskets, and Bird is 4 for 5.
Sellers does not fight through the picks quite as effectively as Gene Banks, and Banks did a great job on Bird Thursday.
Oakley got tied up. Jordan doubled by Celtic guards. And a whistle and a 3-second violation called against the Bulls. Jordan made a great pass into Oakley. And here's Bill Walton.
Here's the pass to Oakley. They're using Jordan as a decoy. Look at him. He knew he was right there. And Oakley just does not have the real leaping ability to power that ball through except with his left hand.
So the crowd turns up a notch as Walton comes into the ball game. Bird is short. And the rebound into the hands of Corzine. So Walton, and what Casey Jones wants is defensive work for him. He's not concerned about what he does on the offensive end.
He's a give me giant defense, midget offense.
That's what he said. Oakley over Walton, high off the play. Walton gets a defensive board. Ainge pulls up. McHale. And the Celtics are up by 4 with a minute and a half to go.
That was excellent work by McHale, using those hurting feet to get up and get that rebound, clean up rebound, and put it in.
Talking about hurting feet, Walton is playing hurt. He played 9 minutes and scored 7 points Thursday night. And there is John Paxson, who is the steadiest ball that is Jordan out there. And a great defensive play by Paxson and Oakley. And it's going to be, let's see, the officials check, it's Chicago ball. What a great play defensively by the Bulls here.
And Oakley and Paxson, particularly Paxson right there, and what a save. Look at Walton really dove on the floor, but to no avail.
A minute remaining in the first period. And Doug Collins was intent on trying to keep the Celtics under 30 points for the first period. He says when they get 30, they're on their way to 60 and maybe 120 in the game. But Jordan comes back, and now we have another tie, our 7th of the first period. McHale, low post. Forget it. No way to stop that.
Oakley did not lay on him enough, and he allowed Kevin to get right into that sweet spot.
39 seconds to go. Jordan starts to heat up. He has 8 points. And we have another tie at 28. Johnson. McHale with another offensive rebound. Unties it again. McHale is in double figures with 10, and all but 2 points in this first period coming from the Celtics front court. And they've done the damage against the Bulls this year in the 6-game sweep by Boston in the regular season.
The Bulls need, in this half, at least one man that could come through and have a solid offensive game other than Jordan.
Meanwhile, Jordan will keep him company until that time as he ties it again.
Boy, that little head fake, he frees that shooting hand.
Final seconds, 1 second, and that won't count. That's the end of the first period. Michael Jordan wound up with 10, Larry Bird 12, and a 30-30 game after 12 minutes. We're in Boston Garden as we start the second period, all tied up in game 2, best of 5 in this first round battle. The Celtics with their front court dominating as they have all year. Jordan got hot toward the end of the period, and Larry Bird came out shooting to a total of 12, but It's been a Chicago-paced game, tempo-wise, wouldn't you say, Tom?
There was a meltdown going on here in this first quarter. The Bulls upbeated the game, fast-paced it. We're going to see if the Celtics will have enough. That effect, with that close a score, will not allow the Celtics to coast in the second half.
Darren Day and Jerry Seasting come in, so Casey Jones, going to his bench early now, is gone now 8 deep. Larry Bird with a great drive from a feed. One of the Bulls hit the ball, and it didn't deter Bird. And Larry has 14 points, and the Celtics are up by 2. Tadeo 3, who's going to press the tempo for the Bulls, the former 76er, number 3 with the ball now. And a foul called away from the ball against the Celtics. Darren Day, his first foul. What does Day give the Celtics off the bench?
Defense and rebounding, and they hope some speed to the wing on their fast break to get some easy baskets.
Seasting, who was on 3, had a red-hot shooting night off the bench in game 1. Jordan misses Walton with a second defensive rebound. McHale on the bench, as you saw. And the Celtics hope that they can stay even or gain a little bit with McHale and Parish on the side. Jordan comes out of nowhere to block the shot. 3 block shots for Michael Jordan. And now Lee Jones is going over to the scorer's table to check something there. Might be the clock and whether they reset it.
Well, it's inside to Walton, and here you're going to see Jordan just come from out of nowhere with that speed of his, save the ball. And the argument was how much time on the clock. They gave the Celtics a new 24.
Seasting guarded by 3. All over him. Coming off the screen, Bird. He was going to go to Darren Day, but one of the Bulls was holding. And Gene Banks, who did not play after 2 quick fouls, picks up number 3. So he is foul prone in this one. Walton. Oakley has it after Bird nearly got an offensive rebound. And Doug Collins is going to have to get Banks out of there. 32-30 Celtics. Oakley loses the ball. Comes into the ball game for Chicago, acquired from Denver before the season. He's had his role diminished as the season's gone on, and a defensive specialist as Banks goes out with 3 fouls.
They're going to be very small now, the Bulls, and this could enhance their speed up the court and put more pressure physically on the Celtics.
Oakley is on Walton. Gives up a lot of inches. Walton scores and the foul.
Walton with a real good position against Oakley. Oakley cannot move him out of there. He gives him some room, and look at the nice move that Walton makes. No pressure to turn him away from the middle. Easy shot for Walton.
2 fouls now on Charles Oakley. And Walton, you saw what he did in game number 1. He played in 80 games last year. In being the spark off the bench to a Celtic title, appeared in only 10 games this season. This is the chance for a 3-point play, and it's the first Celtic miss from the line. It's Parish and McHale both sitting and watching as the Celtics have opened a 4-point lead.
And they're the 2 key guys that you worry about getting tired for that 4th quarter.
Right now, the bench has done the job. Sellers misses. Bird the rebound. Casey Jones has to like what he's getting from the bench here. Bird takes a 3. Seasting hits a 2.
Larry Bird looked off 2 defenders of Chicago to create that opening for Seasting.
Seasting had 8 points in 13 minutes in the opening game, and he hit those open Jays. Jordan on Walton. The Celtics put the bench in with the score tied, and now the Celtics have led by 6, 36-30 in a timeout.
Henry, and call me Hank.
Whatever it takes is right. Dave Corzine back in the ball game for Chicago. He's posting up against Darren Day, but Jordan takes it left-handed to the hoop, and it's 36-32.
Boy, he had his flaps up on that one, pal. Whoa!
Been a well-played game, only 4 turnovers, 2 by each side. Seasting wide open. McHale, but had competition from Jordan. The Bulls wound up with it. 3 to Michael Jordan. And there's the pressure and the fast break ability of Sedale 3.
Threed, with all that experience with a fast-breaking Philadelphia ball club, really knows how to run that middle.
Jordan has scored the last 10 Chicago points. Keep in mind, he had 23 in a row against Atlanta late in the year. But Danny Ainge gets his second hoop, and the Celtics are up by 4. Jordan has 12, Bird 14. Jordan doubles quickly and travels. Kevin McHale jumped out nicely.
Take a look at Kevin McHale's feet. Must have hit something. It's very, very painful to him. He's got a cast on his foot, or has been, and when that happens, it usually constricts the muscle and becomes very achy as the game goes along.
Never see or hear about a Celtic player complaining about any kind of an injury. Larry Bird is back in for the Celtics, so Walton, McHale, and Bird make up the front line for Boston. Ainge is hot. He's hit 2 in a row.
They're getting the ball up with plenty of time to move it around, make the Chicago defense work, and hit that outside shot. That's what the Celtics need to do.
Ainge can be a streak shooter. He had 14 points in the first quarter of Game 1 on Thursday. And you remember he had 17 in the third against Atlanta a week ago. He's become explosive. 40-34 Boston. Sellers. Turner with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Jordan with 1 second on the clock hits the basket.
Those are the types of shots that just demoralize the ball club. You got to really keep your cool after he hits one of those.
Dennis Johnson tries to beat it to Walton inside as Oakley and Paxson come back in the lineup for the Bulls. And we want to remind you that this is just the start of a big day of NBA playoff action. Coming up next, most of you will see the game between Philadelphia and Milwaukee. And the Milwaukee Bucks won a tight 3-point game in the opening contest. And some of you will see the Western matchup between Houston and Portland, where the Houston Rockets looked awfully good, Tommy, in beating Portland in Portland in their opening game matchup. Right now we have 7:35 remaining in the first half. Shape now in Game 2 than they were in Game 1 at this juncture, and Doug Collins told us yesterday what they have to do and accomplish here in the Boston Garden.
The one thing I tried to let our players know is that Boston will not beat itself, especially in Boston Garden. They will not beat themselves. And if we're going to win, that we must come out and be the aggressors. We must get the loose balls. We must be the guys to set the tone of the way the game is going to be played. Boston is a precision team. They will carve you up. They will go for the jugular early and get you bleeding, and then for 48 minutes let you suffer.
Well, the front court for the Celtics makes the Bulls suffer, and that's been the difference. During the regular season, the Celtic front court averaged 77 points. And Doug told us yesterday we've got to hold them under 70, and right now they have scored 30 points. That front court, starters that is, and so they've got to concentrate on the big 3 up there.
I think Chicago is in perfect position in this ball game. The pace has been the way that Doug Collins would want it. The only thing that's kind of disturbing his game plan a little bit is that Walton's been pretty productive, and so has Seaston.
And a loose ball foul called against Bill Walton. It'll be a second foul. And not only that, but he brought in Day and Seasting, as you said, as well as Walton. And so the starters were able to get some rest, and the Celtics were able to build a small lead. As Jordan getting a rest here after making 6 of his last 7.
You know, it's not easy for Casey Jones to coach this team with all these injuries that they had this year. Coached around a lot of problems.
Open is 3. Sellers over the top commits the foul. Sellers in Game 1 got the feed from Jordan in the final crucial seconds and was standing out of bounds. He's a rookie, and it was a mistake. Rookies will make those mistakes, but I think that by and large, Sellers has been a bright addition to this club.
I think he's going to be a bona fide star once he learns how to get out of that college center running style and into a quick forward running style of the NBA.
9 on the shot clock, and Dennis Johnson buries it. First basket of the game for Dennis Johnson, who, as you might expect, played in a big way down the stretch Thursday.
They've made him, Chicago, the prove-it-to-me player. They've gambled off him to have his defender help out.
Celtics have matched their biggest lead, only 6, but that's what they've got now with 6:41 to go. Corzine finds a way. Dave Corzine has 6.
That is a big improvement to their game plan. Corzine scoring from down inside.
Sellers on Bird. They doubled, leaving Johnson open, and Corzine got a hand on the pass to McHale. Looks like the Bulls are wise to the Celtic passing at this point.
They're not going out. Even they're daring Dennis Johnson to shoot that ball at the head of the key.
Double on McHale. Dennis Johnson gets 2 in a row.
He must hit a couple of those to prove it to Doug Collins it's not worthwhile taking a man off Dennis Johnson.
Reed going low to Corzine against McHale. Oakley. Corzine gets the rebound. He turned 31 years of age yesterday. An old warrior. Still a smart, savvy player. Oakley misses the jumper. 5:45 to go in the first half, and the Celtics looking to establish their biggest lead of the game. Foul, and Dennis Johnson will go to the line to do that.
Dennis Johnson, Dick, is very important. He's not a young basketball player anymore either, and he is responsible for a great deal of the pace that the Celtics play. And the real challenge to Dennis is to create pace for this ball club in the second half.
The cheers are for Bill Walton. Walton goes out of the game with 2 points and 3 rebounds. But the bench did the job, to say the least, for the Celtics.
That's more minutes in this ball game in the first half than he played in the prior ball game. Casey Jones trying to build up his stamina and his minutes as quickly as possible so he can make a significant contribution.
Michael Jordan comes back in for the Bulls. He has scored 16 and got a breather. And Dennis Johnson gives the Celtics their biggest lead of the game. 7 points. Walton played 8 minutes in his stint. One fewer than he played all in game 1 of this series. 5:20 to go. Jordan almost dribbled it off his foot. Sellers try to push in the shot, and a loose ball foul called against Boston. And the crowd lets Ed Rush know what he thinks of that call.
Excellent move by the Bulls that time, Dick. As soon as Jordan took the shot, 2 of the big guys from the Bulls hit the board. As Kevin McHale, he has left somebody, and as 2-on-1 rebounding, it goes on, who was it? Larry Bird?
Second on Larry.
Could have gone the other way.
Jordan, triple team. Good pass from Freet to Sellers. It was Freet who made the big pass.
Sellers has showing me that he's quite an outside shooter, and he's becoming a real factor in this ball game.
A lot of people thought that the Bulls would draft Johnny Dawkins. A lot were disappointed when they went with Sellers. I don't think they're disappointed anymore. Bird. Foul. Good move to the hoop by Larry Bird. Sellers committing his second foul, and now the Bulls are over the limit. And Larry Bird showed a little quickness there. How many pounds have Larry Bird lost? Much slimmer than he has in recent times.
I really don't know. I haven't weighed him, Dick, but we put him on the scale. Maybe we'll do it after the game. But I would have to say that Larry Bird...
That was really unfair.
That was unfair of me to ask that question. You to ask me that question. But Larry Bird, he took some time off during the middle of the season here, and I think he's the most emotionally charged up for the playoffs of all of the first 5 players.
All right, I'll give you an easy one. How much does Sedale Creek win?
Let's go to the carnival. If I name it, do I win $1?
Yes. Oakley, 5 on the shot clock. Corzine trying to keep it alive. Oakley does, and a whistle. Kick ball. It'll be Celtics ball. It was kicked by Corzine. Doug Collins doesn't understand. Meanwhile, the Celtics are in front 47-40 in this game. That was tied at 30 apiece after 1 period. And the Celtics are getting mileage in this first half from their bench, something they haven't gotten much this year. Dennis Johnson misses Oakley, who had more rebounds than anyone in the league. Clears enough. Jordan. Michael Jordan with 18 now. And it's a 5-point Celtic lead. And a technical foul has been called against Doug Collins. Tommy, sometimes coaches want to get a technical. Coaches know when that is.
Well, and if you're kind of reticent, you don't get the officials' attention for the small points where you think you're getting not the good calls. And Dougie has been around the league an awful long time as a player, and he knows how to work the officials.
So you think that there might have been a little plan in that?
Particularly when you're on the road, you know, a little statement here and that there. You say, hey, you wouldn't call it that way in Chicago.
Johnson misses the rebound by Sellers. The Bulls have attempted only 2 free throws in this game. 3:38 to go in the first half. Oakley fouled inside, and that's the 15th foul against Boston, so Charles will go to the line and shoot 2. Charles Oakley, who came from a Division II school, Virginia Union.
Well, you know, he's responsible for all their rebounding. Most of the burden of what they're doing on the boards falls into the hands of Charles Oakley. He's had to learn an awful lot of other things, though, than just rebounding. He's provided that facet of the game plan to the Bulls, but also has tried to learn to play good low-post offense. He doesn't quite have it down yet, but if he ever does, he's going to be an all-pro.
Not a good free throw shooter. He hits the first 68%, and he's also missed his last 6 from the field. But anytime you have the scorer, as Tommy mentioned, in the likes of Jordan, and a rebounder off the defensive board like Oakley, and a young club that's hungry, you've got the makings of a win anytime.
He has to learn how to play with Jordan and using Jordan as a decoy. He's going to be open an awful lot. He's got to be ready for it.
Near steal by Jordan leaves McHale free inside.
Dougie Collins said it, you can't make mistakes, right? Not big ones like that.
Well, the Bulls, despite the fact that they're the 3rd youngest in the league, had the 3rd fewest turnovers in the league. They'll call a Celtic foul on Danny Ainge, his 2nd, and the Celtics in the penalty. And Oakley will go to the free throw line again.
This player, Dick, Oakley, when he really truly gets the fast break style down, too, it's going to add about another 6-8 points a game to him. He doesn't have that run mentality in his head yet. And I think that's because the first year, Doug Collins had to go over so many other things that he truly didn't perfect the fast break.
Both teams have shot 15 of 17 from the line, and both of these clubs combined for a playoff record in Game 1, making 45 of 47 from the strike. Bird, Noon was off. Jordan goes high for the rebound. With 3 minutes to go, a chance to bring Chicago to within 2.
And Jordan, surprisingly, is one of the few guys that does not push the ball hard at anybody's defenses quite as fast as he possibly could.
Is something you think he'll develop?
I think once he gets that run mentality down, too, like Oakley, boy, he's going to just be absolutely terrific in that department also.
And are they crediting the basket? Offensive interference against Chicago. And the Bulls call a timeout. 50 to 46 is our score. The Celtics lead. Shooting story from Game 1 until today, and Chicago has improved, and the Celtics have come down a little, and it's reflected in the score. Tommy, Sedale 3, and Jordan doing a job on Boston guards.
That is an added little extra physical pressure situation on Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge, designed to take the 4th quarter away from both of them.
But if they get the ball to McHale in that position, it won't mean a thing.
But it's making them work harder, all of them, to score the points. They're looking for the long-term effect.
Jordan, wild shot. Oakley tries to tip it in. McHale has it. Winding down to 2 minutes remaining in the half. It's 52 to 46. Celtics' biggest lead was 7 points. Chicago led only once, at it 2-0. Reed strips it away, but Bird finds a wide open Danny Ainge. And it's Chicago ball. Well, one thing that Doug Collins said he had to do against Boston was to just interrupt their rhythm and just make them do things they're not used to doing in setting the ball up.
If they come down and they can run through their play patterns like it's written in their playbook, you're going to get beaten. And what is happening right now is it's disrupting the timing of what they're trying to do, an extra couple of steps, 2 feet out further than they'd like.
And we have a minute and 35 remaining in the first half. 6 on the 24-second clock. Sellers has it blocked by Parish, out of bounds. Chicago has it still, to the crowd's dismay, in 5 seconds to get a shot off. Leading scorers in the game, Jordan with 18. For Chicago, Bird 17 for the Celtics. And on a runner, missed by Sedale, 3. Rebound. Now, Jordan making Dennis Johnson work a bit.
You make them work real tough in the backcourt. They put Street on Dennis Johnson for a while.
Parish. Oakley the rebound with a minute and 8 left. 52-46. Jordan went in. Bird was resisting. And Kevin McHale's first foul.
The most amazing thing about Michael Jordan is the total game. And look at this, the box out, and he said, I'm going for the rebound. Dennis, take a seat.
Jordan shooting. Doug Collins knows his club doesn't have enough offense overall to outscore the Celtics. He says, so if Boston gets 60 points at halftime, we're in a lot of trouble, because that could translate out to be 120. And right now the Celtics have 52. I don't think Collins is disappointed with the way the score or the game is going.
In the least.
Jordan 1 out of 2, and we have a tie-up. Oakley and McHale. So right now, with 58 seconds to go in the first half, we want to tell you that we're at Boston Garden, the usual sellout for Game 2 of the best-of-5 first-round matchup between the Chicago Bulls and the world champion Celtics. And with Jordan dueling Bird, the Bulls are hanging in there, but the Celtics have led throughout practically this entire game. Chicago wins the tip, trying to cut the Boston lead to 3. And 16 seconds on the clock to do it. Double on Jordan. Inside, taken away, Parish. Corzine tried to get it to Jordan, and Parish stole the ball away. Ainge pops it. Parish tips it in. The Celtics will get another possession here in this first half. It's 54-47, again matching Boston's biggest first half lead. Jordan. And a foul called against the Celtics. Inside. And it's Robert Parish, his second foul.
Good defense by Robert Parish in the lane. He sees that he's got to get back in there. Jordan's wide open. He played 2 men effectively. And people say Robert Parish doesn't make a contribution. I don't believe it.
I don't know who says that. He had his best year and his most consistent year. When Walton was there a year ago, Tommy, he could pick his spots and play recklessly. Now he's got to be a smart player. Here's Elston Turner coming in, and Jordan goes out having scored 19.
They don't want him to pick up a foul on this possession, so they're going to sit him down and say, we've got an extra 14 seconds to the halftime.
And Turner, they need his defense in the final 14 seconds.
Well, it wasn't so flash in that department either.
3. And a loose ball foul again against the Celtics after Oakley made 1 out of 2. Great missed the jumper. Now they say the foul is against Chicago.
Celtics have been having troubles all season, or the second half of the season, and fourth quarter of ball games, giving up big leads. Doug Collins has to be ecstatic right now that his club is only down 6 points.
And Jordan, with the Bulls getting a chance on offense again with 10 seconds to go, comes back in as Turner goes out. Meanwhile, Charles Oakley has picked up his 3rd personal foul. So it's 54-48. Parish will be at the line, and Jordan will be in as well. Now, Turner stays in the game.
Robert Parish at the line.
Now 3 guards in there to bring the ball up and get off a good shot.
And they're going to make 4 now. Let's see. Now Turner will go out, and Paxton, the long-range shooter, comes in.
Paxton, much better outside shooter than Turner, although Turner's made some big baskets outside for this Bulls team.
8-point lead, biggest lead now of the first half. Final seconds. Corzine knocked away, Boston ball.
Paxton had an opportunity to just pull up and take the jumper.
5 seconds. Parish. No basket. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Celtics 56, the Bulls 48. Pat O'Brien will be back with the Prudential at the half from Milwaukee after this message. Briefly about his foot.
Boy, shook his head no, it didn't feel too good, and that's going to be a big factor for the Celtics. He's their inside game when they need it the most.
Played 22 minutes in the first half. Bird beats Parish. Banks gets the rebound. Banks has 3 fouls, and so does Oakley. They're the only players in the game with 3. Jordan, the leading scorer with 19 for Chicago. Bird has 17. McHale, 14. Jordan. They got the big guys, Parish and McHale, watching him, leaving Paxton open for a 3, and he hits. And the Bulls now trail 56-51. Keep in mind, the Celtics only committed 2 turnovers in the first half, so they've done a lot better that way than they did in game 1. Bird, double team, scores anyway.
Sustaining the pass to the double team. He usually looks to make something happen for somebody else. When he gets doubled, he comes out shooting.
Jordan loses the ball. Looks for a foul, none coming. And now the Celtics leading by 7, pushing it up. McHale gets 2.
That was a big something happening there, Dick. Coming out of the locker room running. That's a sprint at Heartbreak Hill.
They got by Heartbreak Hill, maybe. Biggest lead now for Boston. 9. Banks to Oakley. Blocked. Parish and McHale were both inside. Double on Bird, leaving Ainge open. And Doug Collins will call a 20-second timeout. The crowd is up, and so are the Celtics by 11. Well, coming up next, most of the country will be seeing the Philadelphia 76ers against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks won on their home court 107-104 to take a 1-0 lead. And they haven't been entirely healthy, but Don Nelson somehow always finds a way. And Julius Erving, winding down his amazing career, will try to keep it going for the Sixers. Most of you will see that game. Some of you will see Houston against Portland, where the Rockets looked awfully good in winning on the Trailblazers' home court to win game 1. Doug Collins, this is his reaction when Banks came to the huddle.
Got to get back on defense and hit those boards and pick up Bird.
11-point lead for the Celtics. History is opening it up in the 3rd period. Corzine. And a foul.
2 plays by the Bulls. The last 2 plays, Dick, they've used their wide bodies. Both Charles Oakley and Corzine. That is a smart play by Oakley to get it into a seeming mismatch situation, but neither Corzine or Oakley are leapers, so they can't power the ball through the net and stuff it like most of the other big guys can in the league.
Parish with his 3rd foul. First Celtic to pick up 3, and Corzine makes the first free throw. He started the last half of the year for the Chicago Bulls.
Done an outstanding job, has probably learned to play with Jordan the best of anybody.
2 minutes elapsed, 3rd period, and it's a 9-point lead for Boston, trying to make it 2-0 in the best of 5. They'll go to Chicago for games Tuesday and, if necessary, Thursday. Bird with a pass to Parish on the pick and roll.
That's the first time a pick and roll has had that kind of effect in the 2 games. Chicago's defensed it very well.
Jordan. Foul on Dennis Johnson. Here it is.
Going to see Bird now just come right to Parish, and the rotation not quite quick enough. What a play.
This year's team has used the bench the least, 23%. Everyone was over 30, but Tommy, I can't understand. You've been talking about this, using the starting team. Look at you, 30%. You never use the bench.
I had two identity players, guys that gave the character to the team, Dave Cowens and John Havlicek.
What a disappointment.
Oh, well, what the heck. You know, I mean, Outback had 5 guys that, like 3 of them on the bench that are in the Hall of Fame. So what are you talking about? You can afford to use your bench. Casey Jones, however, has been faced with a dilemma all season using that bench, Dick. Number one, how should I try and use it? He kept thinking that Walton would come back. If he tried to change the identity of that thing, he might have got caught in midstream with a coaching dilemma.
All right, you're off the hook.
Thank you. Boy, you're doing it to me. First, how much does he weigh?
I always wanted to do it to a wide body, though.
Well, you're no leaper.
That's for sure. 64-55. The lead is 9. Oakley with 13 points is second. Jordan's 21. Larry Bird.
And picking on Sellers, who is not able to fight through the picks quite as effectively as Gene Banks.
Corzine looks inside. Oakley is pushed. And let's see if Bird is called. No, Robert Parish, and that'll be 4 on Parish. And that's going to send Casey Jones to the bench. 4 fouls on Robert Parish, and Walton gets up.
The surprising thing all season long, Robert Parish has not gotten into foul trouble that frequently.
And another foul on the Celtics as Walton comes in. This time McHale picks up his second foul. So Parish, who has played his fine game usually, leading the team in rebounds, goes out. Walton with 8 minutes played in the first half. That's a lot of minutes. Is back in there, and Jordan is shooting 2.
Now, he must really pick up his game a notch, Bill Walton, to help this ball club. Not just against second-line players, but he's got to really play well against the first line of the Chicago Bulls. That's a stiffer challenge than he had before.
And for Jordan, he's got 23 points. Michael Jordan, the top single-season scorer in NBA history from the backcourt. And an illegal, no, is it a foul? Away from the ball, and a derisive cheer. Brad Sellers picks up his 3rd foul. First team foul on Chicago in the period. Bird inside against Sellers. Misses a fall away and a loose ball foul against Boston. And Kevin McHale now has 3 fouls. So all of a sudden, McHale has picked up 2, and Parish has picked up 2 here in the 3rd period.
Chicago is doing a very effective job of blocking out all the Celtics' big men on the offensive board. And McHale is trying to really get aggressive and make a charge to the board to get that offensive rebound. But there's this wide body we talk about. When he puts a block on you, it's tough to get around.
Here's Oakley. Oakley hit 4 baskets in the first 8 minutes of the game, but he has gone ice cold since, missing 8 shots from the field. He's still the second leading scorer for the Bulls, going for his 15 points. And he's got it. 8:46 to play, 3rd period. The Celtics lead by 7, 66-59. Their biggest lead was 11 early here in the 3rd. Corzine trying to deny Walton. Dennis Johnson shooting over Paxton. When they need a big basket, number 3 somehow is always there.
Doesn't always have to go to the inside. But Dennis Johnson is a clutch shooter.
Jordan wending his way inside. A blind shot inside misses, and Bird loses it out of bounds. He's taken a beating today.
Well, the idea is to tire Larry Bird out in every way possible. Get up on him. Banks was practically in his jersey with him. He's battling on the boards. He's trying to get all the shots off. He's working hard.
He's got a 7-footer in Sellers now.
That's right.
Jordan loses the ball. 2-on-1 chance for the Celtics. Ainge tries to feed Walton, who recovers. And it's still Boston ball. Boy, Chicago's playing harassing defense.
That was just a miscommunication between Ainge and Walton. Walton hasn't played so long with these guys that he forgot every once in a while they'll pass to me.
Look at Walton trying to set a pick for Johnson. And now an illegal defense call against Chicago. Each team has been cited once for an illegal defense. That's a warning. Next time, of course, the technical.
Right now, with Walton in the ballgame, it's very important that they maintain his lead.
Ainge. So Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge, the two guards, have buried jumpers here, and the Celtics match their biggest lead. And Parish on the bench with 4 personal fouls.
So smart. They really pick on the weakness of your defense.
Paxson. Jordan. Open Corzine.
One of his favorite targets because Corzine knows how to spot up, get open, and then get that shot off.
You know, people talk about having to use 5 men, being tired and all that. I think people may underestimate the savvy and experience of this Celtic club. They shouldn't. Ainge. Oakley the rebound and a foul call inside against Larry Bird. And that'll be 3 on Bird. You could hear Bird's disclaimer all the way into the upper deck.
Oakley manages to get to the weak side before McHale, and there's a little bit of a collision. But Oakley is one of the real superior position rebounders in the league. He's not a leaper. He knows how to use those legs so you can't nudge him out of there. And he gets where he wants to get.
Oakley is 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
There was a little personality conflict between Charles Oakley and Dougie Collins, and I think they've fit in reasonably well with each other. Difficult for Oakley to really change his game and fit in with Michael Jordan, I think. I think he's learned now that it's going to be to his advantage if he does.
70-63, the Celtics lead by 7. We have a tie score after 1 period, and the Celtics had an 8-point lead at halftime. Dennis Johnson trying to post up John Paxson. Paxson gets the rebound with under 7 minutes to play in the third. Both teams have been pushing it up in the second half. In fact, for most of the game they have been doing. Paxson goes for 3. He hit one earlier, misses this.
Here comes a semi-hard push by Dennis Johnson, and not going to get the easy ones with that semi-walk-up.
Bird, a fake on Sellers. Pretty baseline shot by Larry Bird, and he's got 23.
They say send him to his right. I wonder why, because as soon as he gets his shooting hand free, it's normally 2.
Nearly halfway through the third period. Off the screen is Jordan. Fighting through is Dennis Johnson. A couple of fakes and a bank shot. But Tommy, again, the Celtics knew they didn't push the ball up well enough at all in the second half in game 1, trying to rectify that in this game.
They had some Celtics running very early, particularly McHale with the bad foot. That was a good sign he was going to be in it.
There's Celtic passing at its best against the double team, but Ainge misses. There's a good outlet pass by Oakley. Paxson penetrates and is called for the offensive foul. Paxson doesn't like it, but a foul on John is 3rd of the game. Danny Ainge, who was a baseball player, was asked, who would the Celtics be if they were baseball players? Let's listen.
I'd have to compare DJ to Reggie Jackson. You know, DJ comes to play in the big games. I'd have to say Robert Parish would be someone like Lou Gehrig, you know. I mean, he's just always there. He's ready to go. He comes to play every night, and he doesn't seem to get hurt. Larry, I'd have to say, would be our Ted Williams, you know. He's the greatest hitter of all time. He's the best shooter of all time. And Kevin, oh, my gosh. Did Herman Munster play baseball?
That's a nice...
Both Kevin and Danny, they go at each other all the time, you know. I love Danny. He says that Kevin McHale is like a black hole. When the ball goes into the low post, it never comes back out.
And it shouldn't really, huh? Jerry Seasting replaces Danny Ainge, and Seasting in the first half hit 1 of 2 shots. 5:29 to go in the third. 72-65. Walton keeps it alive. Going over the top, making a nice offensive conversion. McHale gets another chance. And Corzine boxes Walton out this time.
McHale is just not getting up to the peak of his leap. I think that foot really is starting to show.
72-65. Oakley turnaround, throws up an air ball. Rebound by Walton. Not really a rebound, but Walton got it. 5 minutes on the clock in the third. Bird working baseline against Sellers is fouled by Brad. And that'll be number 4. Let's see if Sellers got called for it.
I don't care if he got called for the foul or not. That was excellent defense by a rookie 7-footer. You don't see a guy that size be able to move like that, particularly on a man like Larry Bird. He was right with him. That's why I think he's going to be potentially a great quick forward.
Any 7-footer who can run like he can and play the defense has a start. Sedale Threet is in for Chicago and making his first appearance for the Celtics in this series is Fred Roberts, number 31, who's talking with Jimmy Rogers and Casey Jones now. Roberts filled every role this year, backed up both forward spots, even started a few. The former Utah Jazz player, he helps the running game.
He usually plays pretty well with Larry Bird, who is a great passer, and Dennis Johnson, because he gets open Fred Roberts.
It's a nice cold, though. He's been sitting on the bench a while.
Well, he's got to heat up quick.
1 out of 2 free throws. 73-65 with 7 on the shot clock. Threet goes back to Jordan, who tries a 3. Jordan is not a good three-point shooter. Threet saves it, though, with a fine play to Jordan, who gets the foul. Sedale Threet, with a tremendous bit of hustle, kept the ball going, and the Bulls will have a chance with the Celtics in the penalty anyway of getting closer.
All right, this was an outstanding play. Not only the hustle part of it, but the judgment of where to throw the ball to pick out the right man before he came down out of bounds.
The foul was on Walton, number 3 on Bill. And a chance for Jordan to bring the Bulls to within 6. Sedale Threet, who was a 6th-round draft pick and acquired from the Philadelphia 76ers for Steve Coulter, has been a fine addition.
They got some good offensive balls from their other players, so Jordan's stamina wasn't totally used up to the fullest extent in that first half. They're going to go to him a lot more in this latter part of the game.
Seasting. Walton is there. Another rebound. Against Threet. Dennis Johnson posting up and hitting the basket.
That's a new weapon. If you don't have McHale on a low post, DJ can go down there.
And Oakley is fouled. Larry Bird.
Oakley on his leap. They cannot get the ball past the bottom of the backboard. Everybody has a shot at it. You watch right here. He's trying to go up, and he just can't bring it fast enough over the rim.
4 fouls, though, on Larry Bird. That's what he thinks of it. So Bird and Robert Parish have 4 fouls, and Parish has gotten a long rest here in the third period. And Walton has seen a lot of action. What that will mean in the 4th period, of course, is anyone's guess.
You know, a faster-paced game always means more possessions to defend. That's to the advantage of Chicago, because the Celtics can't afford to get in foul trouble.
A buzzer is sounding now, and we're going to have a whistle. The buzzer went off inadvertently, so they're going to call an official timeout. Oakley made 1 free throw.
All right, start it right now. We're going to go to 19.
They're going to go to 19, Ed Rush says.
All right, reset to 19.
All of a sudden, the long buzzer sounded, and they had to stop play. Here are the foul trouble, and the ones with 4 really are in foul trouble. Not so much anymore with the players with 3, but that's what they've got. The Celtics leading by 7. Lead at one time was 11, cut down to 6 this period. Jordan rebounds Seasting's missed shot with 3:35 to go in the 3rd period.
When your legs get a little bit tired, the outside shot is the first thing to go. But Seasting ought to be nice and fresh.
Threet uses a screen off to Paxson. Celtics to tighten up their defense here. 4 on the shot clock. Oakley hits the jumper from the corner, and it's now 75-70. Oakley has 20 points, matches his season's average.
Casey Jones may say, Bill Walton, you better become a giant on offense today, too.
Foul is called against Sadale Freed, and that is only the 4th team foul against Chicago. So it will not be shooting, but the next one will. Celtics were up by 8 at halftime, so the Bulls have eaten into this lead here at this juncture. Dennis Johnson gets the basket and the foul.
You don't always have to take the outside shot when you get doubled. And Dennis Johnson immediately said, I'm not taking it. I'm taking it strong to the hoop. You watch the double team now. Here he comes strong to the basket, ends up with the hoop and a foul.
Somehow, some way, there's always Dennis Johnson, huh? It'll be Washington at Detroit and Indiana at Atlanta in game 2 of those respective series.
You know, Milwaukee's a completely different team this year than they were towards the tail end of the season than they were early. They have become a more of a fast break team with John Lucas. You got to change your whole game plan to beat them.
And Jack Sigma really had a strong late season offensively for the Bucks. Jordan has to pass off to 3. Oakley. Walton gets the rebound. .225 remaining in the third period. It's 78-70 Boston.
Here's where they stagnate sometimes. Just take too much off the clock before they get into really what they want to do and don't get that passing into good play.
Dennis Johnson hits, and Dennis Johnson has 9 points here in the third period. He has sparked the Celtics to now a 10-point lead.
Dougie Collins still saying, Dennis, prove it to me, and he's doing it, and it's not making Dougie move one bit. He said we're going to sink or swim with Dennis, hitting or not hitting the shot.
Under 2 minutes to play in the third. They go low to Corzine, fall away for Dave. Oakley slaps it out to Jordan. McHale back there, and his ankle's got to be bothering him. Remember, he told Tommy at halftime that his ankle was hurting. Now, he's gotten a long rest. Robert Parish has because of 4 personal fouls, and the Celtics have gotten mileage from their bench, and they weathered one storm. But, you know, looking at Kevin McHale, I don't know really how long he can go. He's a game player, but he's hurting.
He is so important, too, Dick, to the fourth quarter of the Celtics because he either gets a good shot off or gets fouled when they need it, and is also pretty smart on when to pass out of the doubles. And he also plays excellent defense normally against any low post game.
You saw Elston Turner come in for Paxson. Defensive specialist Jordan hits 2 free throws, and Michael Jordan now has 29 points. He leads everyone. Bird 24 on top for Boston.
Boy, he's really hobbling.
8-point lead in a kick ball and a new 24-second clock for the Celtics. There's Kevin McHale, who led the NBA in field goal percentage and was 67% against Chicago in their 16 series. Good pass from Ceasing. Corzine, though, rotates over to Walton nicely. Walton hits the jumper.
Big basket right there. Walton will have confidence galore right now. He's got his offensive rhythm.
4 points, but more important, 9 rebounds for the Redheads. Johnson staying with Michael Jordan, step for step. And a great defensive play by Dennis Johnson. Still Chicago ball, but Jordan had nothing on Dennis when they went up.
Dennis beats him to the right. DJ and Michael Jordan right on his shooting hand, and Walton right in there ready to pick off that pass on the decoy offense.
3 seconds on the clock. And the 24-second clock expires. I thought it did before the shot, and now we confirm it. So the Celtics will have it with under a minute to go, 56 seconds. Leading by 10, their biggest lead was 11, so they can open up their widest margin with a basket here. On the shot clock. Dennis Johnson. Corzine into the hands of Sedale 3.
Yeah, 3 guards in there right now. The Bulls.
Jordan to Turner. Elston Turner wide open, hits the basket. And it's an 8-point lead, and that's what it was at halftime in favor of the Celtics.
Casey Jones not worried about Elston Turner, but he hit a big one there.
Celtics can play out the period. Turner is guarding Bird. And 7 seconds to go. Oakley gets the rebound. 3 seconds. Jordan will put it up and hit a 3-point shot by Michael Jordan at the buzzer. Quiets the crowd. Jordan with 32. Here it is, Tommy.
Well, this is the way to end the third quarter. You're still in it. The Celtics have some real tired people, and then hit one like this. What an emotional lift for the Bulls.
And that's the end of the third period. The Celtics lead has been cut to 5, 82-77, and will return to Boston Garden after this word from your local station. Wow. The Celtics with their usual front court mastery, but Michael Jordan hitting the 3-pointer at the buzzer has 32. The Celtics have protected the ball awfully well. Tommy Heinsohn, all eyes have to be on the Celtic front court, even though they're outscoring Chicago. Parish has 4, Bird has 4, and McHale is hobbling.
He is so important in the fourth quarter. Robert Parish about to come in, and he will give maybe a little lift to the inside game offensively. If Corzine plays him, he can get the shot off against Corzine.
McHale did not score in the final period of game 1. He scored only 2 points in the third period of this one, and was shut out against Atlanta in the final 24 minutes a week ago.
Here's something unusual. Danny Ainge is going to take the physical challenge of pressing in the backcourt.
Well, he's spry enough and healthy enough to do it. Jordan picks up where he left off with a basket, and he has 34 now. And now the Bulls are within 3. They were down by 11 in the third.
Well, Dennis Johnson is also on the bench, and he's the best guy to defend against Jordan. He knows how to beat the picks.
Sedale 3 called for the first foul of this fourth period. I want to remind you, at the conclusion of the game, Tommy and I will select the Miller Lite Player of the Game. In conjunction with the award, Miller will present a check in the amount of $1,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society in that player's name. Double on McHale. This is the perimeter passing. Darren Day in the game. He'll take the shot. Oakley, the rebound. Day's not afraid to shoot. He's played good defense off the bench for the Celtics. Jordan, red hot now. What a shootout we have in Michael Jordan. Bird on the bench as we start the fourth, urging his team on, and it's a 1-point lead for Boston.
Michael Jordan, plenty enough gas left in his tank.
Corzine overplaying. Parish knocks the ball out of bounds, but what a pesky defense Doug Collins' crew has shown today.
Now is the time to really upbeat the game as far as Doug Collins is concerned. Really try and take the legs out, if possible, of Bird and McHale.
You saw Dennis Johnson come back in, so the starting tandem, Ainge and Dennis Johnson in there. Ainge front rims it. It'll be a foul call, loose ball foul call against Sedale 3, who now has 4 fouls. And if you want a guy to push it up late in the game, you don't want to have Freed on the bench with foul trouble.
There it goes, pounded inside. He's not been able to get a shot off McHale.
Oakley picking up Johnson, and now we'll have a foul against Chicago, another one. Oakley did not pick up Dennis Johnson effectively on the baseline.
Yeah, moving McHale, and here comes Dennis Johnson, has an angle to the hoop. Now watch all the banging going on underneath. McHale had the ball, and there's, well, I don't know where it happened, but somebody must have belted him.
Corzine gets the foul, his first, a 1-point game. On their home court, they've had to struggle a lot, knowing they've got at least 1, maybe 2 in Chicago coming up this week.
Doug Collins has done a masterful job defensively, changing rhythm and patterns of defense and forcing things to happen from the outside. The Celtics, they've virtually taken away the inside game of Boston.
Parish playing with 4 fouls. McHale slowed up with an injury. Bird rims it, and Oakley fights for the ball, and a loose ball foul against the Celtics. And Kevin McHale now joins the 4 personal foul club. So McHale, Bird, and Parish all shouldered with 4 personal fouls. And now the Bulls, believe it or not, looking to take a lead that they haven't enjoyed since the opening basket of the game by Michael Jordan.
What a challenge for the Celtics right now to really get this lead going again.
They had it up to 11 last period. Jordan. Tipped up, no. Offensive interference. Charles Oakley interfered with it. So the Celtic lead is still safe. And Boston ball with a lot of time remaining. 2 minutes gone by. Final period.
Got to get it up, get the passing involved in their attack so they can get easier shots.
Jordan on Ainge. Turner trying to deny the ball going into Bird. Ainge goes for 3. And Oakley gets the rebound. And an outlet pass to Jordan into the forecourt.
Celtics have been forced to the outside shot. That's how effective Chicago's defense has been.
Even though the front court has scored a lot of points, it's when you score them that counts. And right now, that's slowed almost to a walk. 3 to Jordan. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Jordan for 3, hits another. And the Bulls lead it. And Doug Collins with the pump of exultation. It's 84-82.
Jordan, the big weapon. They're saving him for when they really need him.
Parish nearly has the ball stripped away, and he does by 3. And a whistle blew in the backcourt. It'll be Celtics ball.
Celtics know they are in for a real match coming down the stretch right now. They've got to play near perfect basketball. Their shot selection has gone more to the outside shot than the inside, and that's where they need the points or the fouls.
The Bulls have scored 12 in a row. McHale, foul.
Here's a real good adjustment. If it's not happening in a low post, use a little penetration. That frees you for rebounds like this of Kevin McHale, who's very smart and knows when to go for the offensive board.
Foul is on Jordan, his second. And McHale misses the free throw. McHale shot 80% from the line this year. The Bulls lead it 84-82 with 8:53 on the clock. And that breaks a 12-point run by the Bulls, who still lead it and have the ball. Elston Turner, he's been a right addition off the bench today for Doug Collins.
Good defense there, and he hit a couple of big shots.
Jordan penetrating, draws the foul, and that's only the second team foul.
Well, he never got his wheels off the runway that time before they hammered him, the Celtics.
It's a 2-shot foul as they check, and now Ed Rush. The foul is on Dennis Johnson. That's number 4 on Johnson. So every one of the Celtic starters, with the exception of Danny Ainge, have 4 personal fouls.
Coming down the stretch, this man will be drawing extra attention from the Celtics defense. And it may end up that some other people will have to score as Jordan dishes it off.
Oakley has 20, by the way, and Corzine 10. Jordan has scored the last 11 Chicago points, and it's 85-83 Bulls. He has 40, by the way.
Boy, look at him hustle on defense.
Takes a lot of pride in that part of the game, too, although he only gets noticed for the scoring. A foul away from the ball.
Here's Bird trying to post up what in essence is a guard, and Turner holding Bird. Bird saying, I'm going to get as close to the hoop as I can, and Elston Turner saying, no, you're not. But Bird will be at the line.
Elston Turner's foul, and the Bulls went over the limit in a hurry in this 4th period. We have 8.5 to go, and Chicago is over the limit. The foul scoring. 4s are wild here with 8:25 to go, and Larry Bird ties the game. That's the 10th tie of this game.
I think Chicago could afford to lose any of the guys that have 4 for them, but Casey Jones couldn't afford to lose any of the guys that he has. has with 4.
Ainge on Threed, and you remember those two went at it in Philadelphia last year. Sedale Threed hits a long jumper. He has no fear. There's the long pass McHale. And he ties the score in a hurry.
Outstanding hustle play by Kevin McHale. And a perfect timing. Who threw that pass? Bird?
Bird. Corzine setting a pick outside, and an offensive foul called against Corzine. With 7:50 to go. The Celtics had a 21-point lead in game 1 and had a struggle to win by 4 here.
Here's where the experience starts to pay off of playoff pressure.
Ainge. Where does it manifest itself the most, Tommy?
You got to keep cool under fire when you're coming down the stretch. And young teams sometimes go a little wacky. Threed is in there. He's been in the playoffs. That'll help Chicago.
Although he's never won at Boston Garden in any kind of game, regular season or playoff, when he was in the Philadelphia uniform or Chicago. Corzine. Threw the ball away.
Celtics get aggressive defensively. They're taking Chicago out of their play pattern.
Where does the experience show?
Right here, things like this. No fear. Take the shot when it's there. Don't get too emotional before the game is over. Sedale Threed hits a big shot. He's going to celebrate with Michael Jordan, but they forget McHale, who's up the court. Bird, with his experience, says, you're going to pay for having party time.
Well, if you want to know what the home court edge here at Boston Garden means, you may be seeing it right now, and that's what the Bulls have to face. Maybe the 6th man. This crowd, the 311th consecutive sellout at Boston Garden. Celtics have scored 6 in a row after trailing by 2, and on the line was Jordan, turns it over.
Celtics stepped right to him and forced him to fall down.
They were tied at 87, and Danny Ainge hit 2 jumpers. Going for 3. No basket. 3-second violation against the Celtics.
They had the Bulls defense retreating totally, and Danny Ainge just slipped in for an easy outside shot. Unfortunately, one of the Celtics did not get out of the lane.
Well, we'll see the kind of poise on this 3rd youngest team in the NBA, the Bulls, show here. Jump switch as McHale meets Sedale Threed. Ainge is on Oakley, who's out of the play right now. Jordan with a turnaround. Parish the rebound.
Everybody on the Celtics is hitting that defensive board right now to control possessions on misses.
Sellers on Bird, doubled with 3. Dennis Johnson. How to go over Oakley for the basket.
He caught one of the Bulls guards rushing at him and just had a good angle of attack at the hoop.
See Doug Collins settle down. Go over, commit. Don't get too excited here. Easier said than done.
Tough to execute under this type of pressure for a young team.
Pick and roll. Corzine shot blocked by Parish. Here's Parish. And the Celtics would have really brought down the house if he had made this hoop.
Here's Reggie Jackson, the home run king. What a play. Good angle, easy shot. Terrific.
According to Danny Ainge,
yep.
Right? Celtics by 6. They have scored 8 in a row. And it's broken there by Michael Jordan, who has 42 points. And if you're wondering, Jordan has gone over the 40 mark 37 times this year.
It's going to be a dandy the last 3 minutes of this game, Dick.
We're just under 5 right here, and it's 93-89. Celtics.
Parish is a good matchup for the Celtics to use right now. Corzine cannot.
Stripped away. Yes, you're right. And Ainge takes it away. One good steal deserves another. Jordan. If they rely only on Jordan, the Bulls may go home early. And they had to foul McHale, who's on the floor, and he's hurting. He is in pain. Kevin McHale was clobbered. And the Bulls trainer is the first to get to it. And Dennis Johnson and Oakley and Collins, they're going to have to cool off out there.
He hit the floor and slams into the support. You're going to see it. Dennis Johnson forcing the pace at just the right time. McHale was way ahead of the pack with his bad feet and all. And he's going up to the hoop, and he gets hit from behind by Oakley. And boy, did he really take a header.
It was Jordan and Oakley, actually. He got hit from two sides.
I wonder what type of foul they're going to call that.
They're checking with Dr. Tom Silva, the Celtic physician. Breakaway foul called against Charles Oakley. A breakaway foul, so that's two shots.
Right, he had a clear path to the basket, and Oakley hit him directly from behind.
And the ball. So the Celtics, McHale will shoot two, and the Celtics will get the ball with 4:16 to go in this game, and a 6-point Boston lead.
Celtics are trying to use what they think is a good matchup, but Jordan says, no, sir, I'm coming in to help out, but look at that good steal by Danny Ainge. I'm telling you, there are heads-up plays going on here.
McHale upsetted himself. A grueling game 2 of this best-of-5 first-round matchup. And coming up after this, we expect more of the same with Philadelphia playing in Milwaukee. Most of you will see that game. Some of you will catch Houston, Portland in the West. Parish.
Stay cool. What a play by McHale to find Parish. Beautiful. Playoff cool at the right time. And you're going to see Kevin McHale with a lot of pressure. He draws 3 defenders, and he's not the black hole now. The ball comes back out. Danny Ainge ought to take a look at this replay because he draws 3 defenders and says, I am going to make the right play at the right time. That's what all that Celtic experience in the finals means.
The Celtics have outscored the Bulls 13-2 in the last 3 minutes and 52 seconds after Chicago had come back to take a 2-point lead. And now it's the Bulls under pressure. It doesn't fall for Jordan. He's taken just about every shot for the Bulls down the stretch.
And they're only giving them 1 shot. They're gobbling up the rebounds, the Celtics. And that's really hurting Chicago. They can't get a second effort.
9-point lead for Boston. Celtics have it with 6 seconds on the clock.
My admiration is going and building even more for Michael Jordan right now, who is just killing himself on defense.
McHale spins around, and Corzine the rebound with 3.5 to go. But it's been all Jordan offensively, and Sellers lost it off his foot. Celtics ball. And if you want to talk about what experience means, you've seen it in the last 4.5 minutes.
They hustled back on defense, the Celtics. That's some kind of finish coming down to the tail end of a marathon. All 4 white jerseys back there to protect against Sellers.
The Celtics are showing remarkable mental and physical toughness in this 4th period when they're threatened. Bird fires it up. Corzine gets the rebound with 3 minutes now remaining. Paxton. The Bulls are standing around out there. Corzine misses. The Bulls are not moving on offense. And I think the Celtics taking the game away from them.
This is where a first-year team with a new coach may have a little trouble, is executing to perfection when you need it it's not happening for Chicago.
The Celtics may be tired, but the Bulls are also tired. Bird, blocked by Corzine into the hands of Oakley. Johnson saves it for Bird. Sellers fell asleep. Oakley was lackadaisical and traveling against Larry Bird. I'll tell you, Doug Collins has to get this team together for a final push now, if they have one in them.
You're going to see right now Bird making a move, and Sellers makes a good defensive play, as does Corzine. Oakley holding the ball too long, and Sellers not even having his head open, up and llooking for the ball, allows Johnson to make the steal.
Bulls are 1 for 6 in the last 5 minutes. Paxson goes baseline. Corzine follows up. The two veterans. Corzine gets the hoop, and it's a 7-point game. Under 2 minutes to go.
That's what they need. Some offensive rebounding on misses right now, Chicago. If Jordan is going to take the shot, he also can be the decoy for open offensive rebounds.
Dennis Johnson. 8 on the clock, and a whistle and a foul away. Sellers, 5 fouls on Brad Sellers. No one ever said it would be easy for a rookie in this kind of pressure situation.
Rookies respond to either one of two ways. They either do something extraordinary because they don't feel the pressure, or they completely clam up and give you nothing. Sellers has been, like, very, very good in this ballgame.
Game 3 of this best-of-5 will be Tuesday night at Chicago Stadium, and they'll be rocking at Chicago Stadium when Boston comes to town. But the Celtics anxious to come to town with a 2-0 lead. Larry Bird with 27, and there's the time remaining, and an 8-point Boston advantage. Jordan, picked up by McHale, goes for 3. Oakley fighting. Parish, he's come up with some big rebounds in this fourth period.
So has Larry Bird.
Ainge. Time is running out for the men in red. Responded in a big way when Chicago took an 87-85 lead, and the Celtics experience has carried them here to this kind of a lead. If you look at the story, we had a close first period. Celtics were up by 8 at the half, and then it was cut to 5 after 3 on Jordan's 3-point shot. And then Chicago went on a big run in the fourth period, testing the Celtics. And there's a man playing hurt, Kevin McHale, the front line. And this is nothing new, Boston's domination. But they slowed up in that final period. And I know you've been saying all along that the Bulls have to find an alternate to Jordan down the stretch.
Well, I think they got a pretty good shooting game out of Oakley. You know, the Bulls played a better game today than they did Thursday night, but so have the Celtics.
And you mentioned Oakley, and that's his first points in this final period. He has 22 in the game. 101-93.
What the Celtics have done, Dick, is really accept a stiffer challenge today, and they are going to have to increasingly accept stiffer challenges in each round of the playoff. But Chicago really put a whipping on them, and they really gutsed it out.
The final score may not be as close as Game 1 on Thursday when the Celtics won by 4, but they were tested a lot more in this one. Oakley gets a 3-point shot, and you remember he hit 3 of them down the stretch late in the year when the Bulls were here. 3 3-point shots by Oakley, and he hit one there. It's 103-96. 45 seconds remaining. Bird passes up a 3.
Wants to work the clock down, of course.
The shot clock. Dennis Johnson deflected. Parish gets a new clock for the Celtics. And the crowd begins to get up. En masse.
The question is, Dick, for the next game between these two ball clubs is how is McHale's foot going to respond?
That's a big question. But, Tommy, the question I want to know is, can the Celtics afford to struggle at home the way they have in the first round against against the Bulls, the 8th-seeded team, or do the 2 close wins really take the starch out of Chicago, even though they're going home? How do you look at that?
I think Chicago did not expect to win 2 games here. Maybe they could have sneaked one out, but it's not going to dismay them whatsoever. They're going to go back to Chicago in front of their hometown crowd, put the same physical, emotional challenge to them, to the 5 Celtic players, plus the fans are going to put an emotional challenge to the Celtic players.
Bird goes out. Larry Bird, 29 points, 8 rebounds. What does it mean for the Celtics to have to struggle twice at home in this series?
They're going to have to struggle all the way along the line, and McHale is really hobbling right now.
McHale gets the rebound, and that'll do it. It's over. Terrific game. Michael Jordan scored 42. Oakley 25, but it wasn't enough. The Bulls played a terrific game, but they were playing the world champions with all their savvy on a home court in which the Celtics have now won 76 of their last 77. Boston takes the 2-0 lead to Chicago on Tuesday in the first round. Score, the Boston Celtics beat the Chicago Bulls 105-96, and of course coming up next it'll be the Philadelphia-Milwaukee Game 2 battle. Right now let's go out to Brent Musburger, who's with an old friend. Brent? And in winning they set a new playoff record with only 5 turnovers. So the Boston Celtics showed their experience in yet another way today. Even though their starting 4 of the 5 were hampered with foul trouble, and McHale was playing hurt. Starting 5 all were in double figures, and only 5 turnovers, a new playoff record low. And the Celtics try to add still another banner to all those up there, try to become the first team to repeat as NBA champions. First time since they themselves did it 18 years ago. And we'll be back with more from Boston Garden after this message. Player of the game is Larry Bird, who scored 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. And you could give a lot of awards to the starting 5 for the Celtics. And Miller is proud to present a check for $1,000 to the multiple sclerosis on behalf of Larry Bird. Danny Ainge hit 4 big shots down the stretch to win this game, and right now he's with Tom.
Well, Danny, you really did great work coming down the stretch, but this game is over now. What is it going to be like going into Chicago for you guys? You had a stiff challenge these 2 games with Chicago.
Well, Chicago's going to be tougher at their place. We're going to have to play a little bit better, I think, in order to beat them there. You know, that crowd's pretty wild. The place will be crowded and rocking in Chicago. We're ready for that.
How's Kevin?
I don't know. We'll have to see. He was fine before the game, but that shot that he took from Oakley might hurt him a little. I don't know.
Well, let's hope he's okay for Chicago. Back to Dick Stockton right now.
All right, Tommy. So for Tom Heinsohn, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long the Celtics. Go 2 up on the Bulls. Here, winning at Boston Garden 105-96. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.